Do you think Senator Sanders' economy would be better for America than President Trump?
I think that Donald Trump thinks it would be better if he's president. I do not think so. Vladimir Putin thinks that Donald Trump should be president of the United States, and that's why Russia is helping you get elected, so you'll lose to him.
Let me tell Mr. Putin, okay, I'm not a good friend of President Xi of China. I think President Xi is an authoritarian leader. And let me tell Mr. Putin, who interfered in the 2016 election, try to bring Americans against Americans. Hey, Mr. Putin, if I'm president of the United States, trust me, you're not going to interfere in any more American elections.
It's official. Russia has endorsed the re-election of President Donald Trump. The Russians are coming again. The Russians are into interfering in this election.
Here we are again, Evan. Russia trying to interfere in our election, apparently to benefit President Trump.
The Russians are coming.
Yes, they are.
And they're coming again for their main man, Donald J. Trump.
The president is a Russian operative. That sounds like the description of a bad Hollywood screenplay, but it is real.
I love Mika. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But yes, it is. It is. She can't call anybody a puppet. I mean, come on. She is a puppet.
Fearful people are easier to control. You saw it on the front page of their newspaper this morning, the New York Times. Lawmakers are warning that Russia is meddling to re-elect Trump, read the headline. Inside the story, there was nothing. No evidence, no detail, not even a coherent set of accusations. But it was enough to alert the morons on cable news that it was time to do their job, which is, now and always, to run interference for the people in charge. Now remember, as you watch the following clip, that most of the people on television have no idea what they're saying, even as they're saying it. They're just reading the scripts that were written for them by some 23-year-old women's studies major from Wesleyan, somebody who knows even less than they do. So as you watch, try not to judge them too harshly.
If the Russians are attacking our election processes and they're doing so to benefit Donald Trump, I think, frankly, the president welcomes it. He wants it.
So as bad as it is that the Russians are back at it, trying to help Trump get reelected, it's far worse that the president of the United States he's trying to cover it up.
The president of the United States has colluded with Vladimir Putin to steal an election. No, not the last one, though that one, but the next one, too. Be afraid, says Don Lemon. Be very afraid. Yet the public doesn't seem especially afraid. Maybe they've heard it before somewhere. Their lack of panic is deeply distressing to the Democratic Party, which is counting on another Red Scare sometime between now and November. So Brian Williams, trusty Brian Williams, stepped in to scold America for not being more terrified.
We begin tonight with sad word that funeral services are pending this evening after the death of Outrage earlier today. Outrage officially died of exhaustion, though buoyed at the very end by the one bright spot, the realization that his close relative Apathy survives and is thriving.
Got that? Screw you, America. You ought to be falling for it a second time. How dare you? You can see the frustration on their faces. On the other hand, you'd think they might take the time to come up with a new hoax occasionally. Why can't they invent Argentine sappers once in a while, or saboteurs from Malawi? Something new and interesting. But no, like a robot vacuum cleaner stuck carving circles under a chair, they're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over until the batteries run out. And now they're trying it on Bernie.
Now, you might ask the question, and some people have, would they want Trump over Bernie Sanders? Sanders, of course, Democratic socialist, has, more ideologically in tune with the old Russia anyway. And remember, of course, the Russians did favor Bernie Sanders in the primary in 2016 over Hillary Clinton.
Wait, Bernie Sanders? He's a Putin stooge, too? We thought he was a Brezhnev stooge. Whatever. He's colluding with the Russians. He's got to be, because he's not with the program. Just this afternoon, the Washington Post reported that, quote, Bernie Sanders was briefed by U.S. officials, intel officials, that Russia is trying to help his presidential campaign, end quote. Now, that happened weeks ago. He learned about it weeks ago, but the Sanders campaign never leaked the story. Now, on the eve of the Nevada caucuses, someone in the so-called intelligence community did leak it, just as they repeatedly leaked selective information in the first Russia hoax in an effort, of course, to derail Donald Trump, whose policies they disagreed with. You see what's going on here? Yes, you do. Our democratic system is, in fact, under attack. That much is true. But it's not the Russians who are attacking it. It's not even the Chinese. It's being attacked by our own ruling class. They're undermining democracy because they have no choice. If they left it up to voters to decide where to go next, they'd be out of a job tomorrow because they've been terrible stewards of this country. Some of them would be in jail. So they've got to subvert our system. Their livelihoods depend on it.
Libya, more than anyone else's war, was Hillary Clinton's war. Barack Obama initially opposed it. Who was the person who was championing it? Hillary Clinton. That's documented throughout her emails. She put her favoured agent, in effect, Sidney Blumenthal, onto that. There's more than 1,700 emails out of the 33,000 Hillary Clinton emails we published just about Libya. It's not about that Libya has cheap oil. She perceived the removal of Gaddafi and the overthrow of the Libyan state, something that she would use to run in the general election for president.
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, oh, I'm sure it did.
2011 there's an internal document called the Libya TikTok that is produced for Hillary Clinton, and it's a chronological description of how Hillary Clinton was the central figure in the destruction of the Libyan state. As a result, there was around 40,000 deaths within Libya. Jihadists moved in, ISIS moved in. That led to the European refugee and migrant crisis, because not only did you have people fleeing Libya, people then fleeing Syria, destabilization of other African countries as a result of arms flows. The Libyan state itself was no longer able to control movement of people through it. So Libya phases onto the Mediterranean. And so it had been effectively the cork in the bottle of Africa. So all problems, economic problems, civil war in Africa, previously people fleeing those problems didn't end up in Europe because Libya policed the Mediterranean. And that was said explicitly at the time, back in early 2011 by Gaddafi. What do these Europeans think that they're doing, trying to bomb and destroy the Libyan state? There's going to be floods of migrants out of Africa and jihadists into Europe, and that is exactly what happened.